beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today we're testing out some new complexion products from Huda Beauty. This is the new Easy Blur line. It is currently available. It launched on September 2nd, so you should already be able to get these products both online and in stores from the Huda site, from Sephora, and I'm not sure if this is on the Cult Beauty website yet or not. I'll look around a little bit online, and any retailers that are offering this Easy Blur line, I'll link down in the description for you so that you can pick the one that's going to be best for you. We have the Easy Blur foundation. This is priced at 37 US dollars. Then we also have an Easy Blur primer. So of course, we're going to be testing all these products out on my face today. I'm going to take you through the entire process of wear testing this from the application all the way through many hours of wear, and we'll see how this holds up. I also want to mention there is a mini version of the Easy Blur foundation on the Huda site. If you want to test this out before you commit to a whole bottle, they have minis for $15. I think that's such a good idea. I love that. I love a mini. I love it for travel. I like it for testing, shade testing, all that. I think that's such a good idea. A little bit of info about this foundation. It is available in 29 shades. According to the info on the Huda site, this is a serum-like foundation formulated with 1.5% skin smoothing niacinamide and pore blurring silica for the most natural airbrushed finish. Fragrance-free, alcohol-free, lightweight, melts onto the skin. So when I hear words like blurring, I immediately go to a mattifying type of finish. They're calling this a natural finish, and I have to agree, I don't think that this is super mattifying, which for me personally is good because I have really, really dry skin. I'm also very close to my 39th birthday, so I have a lot more wrinkles and fine lines and just little nooks and crannies more so than I used to. And mattifying things just are not flattering on me. They're not comfortable. They're not the best look for me personally. So I'm very happy to see a blurring product that has a more natural finish. Will it hold up all day? How will it wear? Will it start to turn matte and flaky on me? Only time will tell. So let's go back in time to no makeup Amanda. We're going to put all of these products to the test. First, let's just start with a close-up look at my completely bare skin. I did do my morning skincare, and of course I am wearing sunscreen here because I do that every day. So I'm not willing to reduce the variables enough that I risk sun damaging myself further. But I like to show you my close-up skin for better or for worse. I have a giant mosquito bite on the side of my face here, and this is actually 2 days old and it just still hasn't healed. So that's awesome. These are my red spots, sunspots, wrinkles, crinkles, freckles, unevenness. This is what my real skin looks like, and skin is normal and it doesn't have to be perfect and airbrushed, but we're gonna see if we can maybe blur it a little bit using these Easy Blur products. Now, I've decided to go ahead and use the Easy Blur primer on half of my face so we can see if the primer does anything. And I also struggle with primers. I get a lot of sensitivity reactions to primers. Just over the past couple years, it's something that's been an issue for me, so I tend to stay away from them. But I wanted to test this one out. This is a silicone-free primer, but it has that sort of slippy gel silicone texture to it. So I think this is really interesting. I really wanted to give this primer a fair shot, even though I have not really been living the primer life lately. So I'm gonna take about a pea-sized amount of that primer and put it on one half of my face. I think you can automatically see some of the blurring effect here. It's definitely less shiny at least, and this does not feel too dry or just that texture of a silicone primer where you can tell it's like rolling up and balling up on the face. This didn't do that. So I was really happy with that. I do notice, like I said, a little bit of the reduction in the shine, but it doesn't have that quote unquote pore filling feeling. I did decide to add a little bit more to my forehead just because I didn't have a lot left over from what I put on my face. So I'm adding a little bit more on my forehead, and now you can see some of that shine reduction quality. It's not huge, but it is noticeable, and we have to be picky in a review. That's the whole point. Now we're going to move on to the Easy Blur Foundation. I am using the shade Chai. This is 210B. I really like the packaging. I like the shape of this. I like the twist off top with the little squeezy tube applicator. This is going to be super travel friendly. It's going to pack easily. It's going to travel well because it has this plastic packaging that feels nice and sturdy. And when I first swatched this color, I was a little bit nervous. This is what the Huda brand sent to me, and I was afraid that this was going to be too dark, but once I started applying it, it really is a nice match for me. And the undertone, most importantly, is a nice neutral undertone for me. Now I'm going to use the face brush. This has a very dense, rounded bristle, and it is really quite soft, but the density here is what will make this not absorb too much product. And it also didn't leave any brush stroke streaks on my face. So I like this. I've only used the brush this one time, so I can't say for sure how much of a staple it will become for me, but it did work really well. And I wanted to use all of the products that were designed to work together. And I can see that the primer, the foundation, and the brush all really work together. They feel like they were designed to complement one another. Everything blended super quickly and easily, and the brush didn't absorb too much of my foundation. I feel like it really stayed on the face and it looks nice and smooth. I think it looks great. Here's a side by side with completely bare skin on one half, and then the other half has the blurring primer and the Easy Blur foundation in a very, very light layer. I didn't add too much. I don't love a ton of coverage. I just personally, that's not my style and that's not what I think looks best on me. So I am doing a nice light application here. And I have since tested this with a little bit more of a buildup. And I think it just looks better, at least on me, on my skin, with a really light layer. I get the effects that I want, but I don't look overdone. So I think this looks beautiful. You can definitely still see some of my spots and speckles. I'm a little bit worried about this spot here where it just looks a bit dry right in the center of my cheek, but we'll just have to wait and see how it wears. We'll have to see if that happens on the side where I'm not going to apply any primer. Don't worry, I have lots of wear test check-ins coming in the future for you. Now I'm going to apply just the foundation to the other half of my face. I'm using the same amount. I'm using the same brush technique. I am just not using the primer on this side. This little side-by-side test with the primer on one side really is serving two functions. First of all, we get to see how much does the primer contribute to the wear time, to the blurring, to all of that good stuff. And I also personally get to test and see if I have any sensitivity to the primer, because if I do full face of primer and full face foundation, then I feel that irritation. I won't know if it's from the foundation or from the primer. Does that make sense? So we're doing a lot of semi-scientific testing today. At the first application here, I didn't notice a huge difference in the blurred look, but now seeing it on camera, I think maybe I can ever so slightly tell a difference. Maybe I'm just looking for a difference because I know that that primer is on one side. But in general, when I applied this, I really felt like both sides of my face looked pretty similar. I was very nervous about how this was going to apply because when I hear blurring, I just automatically tend to think that's not a product that's going to work for me because I do have dry skin and I have more mature skin. Blurring type products generally are not very flattering on my face, but I think that this looks really nice and natural. And aside from this little dry spot that I'm going to keep an eye on, I'm very, very happy with the finish, with the dry down application, all that good stuff. I'm here for my first wear test check-in. I've been wearing my face makeup for just over 2 hours at this point. Obviously, I finished the rest of my makeup, but I tried to keep the face makeup really minimal. So I did do just a little bit of concealer under my eyes and I set that with a little bit of setting powder. The only other thing on my face is this blush. I tried to just keep my cheek color really minimal. I'm not going to do any setting spray. I'm not going to do any touching up. And I didn't powder the rest of my face, just where I put that concealer on the under eye area. Let's get really close up and see how the past 2 hours have treated this makeup. Obviously, I haven't done anything really strenuous because I've just been sitting here filming, but I'm about to go about a lot of other things in my day. So we're gonna kick it up a notch, but first, let's just get a close-up look and see how this held up to other makeup being applied on top. And also, let's see if we can notice a difference between the side with primer and the side with no primer. Let's zoom in. I don't know if I'm imagining it, but I do think that the side with primer looks a little bit more blurred, especially on the forehead. Let's see if we notice that same difference on the cheeks. I really don't. I think it's more noticeable here. Maybe this side of my forehead is just less crinkly. I don't know. Let's see how the face is holding up. I did notice that it was looking a little bit dry right here when I first applied. Seems better actually right now as it's sort of warmed to my face. It's probably gotten a little bit more settled in. Really minimal to no nose gunk, which is what I call it when foundation or product kind of builds up around my nose creases here. Very common problem for me. I also want to look close up at my chin and around my mouth. That's usually a problem area for me. So far, it looks really good. Obviously, I haven't done anything strenuous. I've just been sitting here filming, which is what I do for work. So obviously, we need to test it in this situation. But I have a whole bunch of not makeup just for fun stuff to do later, real life Amanda stuff. So I'm going to be running a bunch of errands. And obviously, I need to do all of the other things that I do in a day, like walk Maggie, regular household stuff. So I'm doing a little bit of everything. So this should be a really good wear test day. I am going to be incredibly busy today, so I may not do another check-in for a while, but we're gonna put this makeup through the ringer and see how it holds up. I'm doing my second check-in. I've been wearing this foundation for about 6 hours now. I am going to continue to wear it longer. So if I have the ability to film another check-in, I might not be able to really sit down and fully film like this where I'm talking to you, but I will try at least to come in here and film a close-up and just voiceover Amanda can tell you about how it wears and how long I was able to wear it. But I'm about to be on full-on parent duties, so I have to make that my priority from now for the rest of the day. So I might be able to sneak away and film another close-up after several more hours. I am gonna keep wearing this longer, but my allotted time for filming for the day is coming to an end. So let's zoom in and see what 6 hours looks like with this foundation and with the primer. I will say, even if we can't see a difference on the primer side, I can feel a difference. I personally am not a huge primer wearer these days, and that's because over the past couple of years, as my skin has been aging, it has gotten more sensitive. And I've noticed that primers are something that I react to more than anything else, more than even sunscreens and foundations and skin tints and all that. Primers are kind of a problem area for me. And I notice that the primer side, especially around my nose right here, but earlier I could kind of feel it on my cheek, like just a little kind of itchiness or irritation feeling. And I bet that when I remove this, I'll have more redness on this side. It's not painful, it's not bumps or anything. It's nothing that's been anything more than an annoyance and the very slightest of discomforts. But I do chalk that up to the primer, especially because that's something that I've already noticed and already been experiencing. So it's not this primer's fault in particular. There was one primer that really seriously irritated my skin and made me really, really break out and like painful and bumps and red and everything. This isn't destroying my skin. It's not inflaming my skin or anything. It's just reaffirming that primers aren't really a high priority for me, and just sticking to skincare and moisturizing and sunscreen is more of the way for me to go personally. But if you don't have those types of problems with sensitivity, then you might not experience this at all. Overall, I think it's really comfortable. I like that it didn't ball up and, kind of pill up. If you've tried a lot of blurring primers and pore filling primers, then you'll probably know exactly what I mean. Some of the silicone ones tend to sort of roll up and just cause problems. And this didn't do that. That's one thing I will say. Even though this isn't the right product for me, doesn't mean that's bad. It's actually probably a really good primer. It's just, I'm not a primer girl. Now, I had noticed earlier that the primer side was staying a little bit more blurred looking, and I think you can really see that where with the texture here, it definitely works. When it comes to the rest of my face, I don't notice that big of a difference because you can still sort of see this, normal skin texture. Maybe it's a little bit more blurred on this side, but I also might just be looking for it to be more blurred, you know what I mean? I definitely want to hear your opinions about this in the comments. Can you tell a difference between the primer and no primer side? I have just been looking at it too long. It's my own face. I just really don't feel like I can truly make a judgment call on that. This foundation's been holding up beautifully on me throughout the day. It's exceeding all of my expectations. Hopefully that continues to be the case. I guess we can always cut to voiceover Amanda to see what she says in the future. But as of right now, I'm incredibly happy with this. I went into this review with pretty low expectations because blurring things just aren't really my jam. They just don't really tend to work out between my skin type, the fact that I have drier, more mature skin, and also my personal preferred style, my aesthetic. I do like something that's more natural or on the dewy side. And things that are flat matte are not my personal taste. And this is not giving flat or matte. It's definitely a really lovely natural finish. I did it. I came back for another check-in. This is after I finished filming my whole video and I went and lived my life for several more hours. At this point, hold on, what time is it? At this point, I have been wearing for almost 11 hours, about 10 and a half hours, which is a pretty darn good wear test. I did everything today. I did a little bit of everything today. And I think in some ways you can kind of tell that I've had a long day. Let me touch up the lip gloss, that'll help. Is that a little bit better? So first of all, from far away, everything still looks so, so good. Very impressed. I have noticed a couple of things close up that I wanted to point out. First of all, my eyeliner is worn off, but my eyeshadow still looks good. I know this video isn't about the other makeup that I'm wearing, but I just wanted to point that out. In general, I think I've really started to notice more now that this side with the primer stays looking more blurred. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I can tell a difference. But I do notice that on this side around my nose, I've gotten a little bit flaky looking. Sorry to like shoot up my nose. I'll cover my nostril. See here? See like this area right here is a little dry and a little flaky. I know that's like an awkward angle to look at, but around the nose, around the mouth, and in between the brows are a common problem area for me, getting like dry and flaky looking. So this isn't nearly that bad, but I do notice that it's worse on the side with the primer. Just kind of a give and take there, I guess. But in general, this makeup held up so well. You can kind of tell I wore my sunglasses a lot more. I didn't touch up. So I still think this looks pretty good. I was wearing my sunglasses. I was wearing a hat in the car when I was driving. I have been generally tending to the livelihood of all of the creatures that live in this house. And I feel like this held up super well. You know what? I think the side with the primer, my blush stayed on better too. Am I inventing this? Maybe I'm looking for a difference, so my brain is inventing it. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. I just think this is really held up well. I think it really looks good. And it's not the hottest, most humid day that we've had here. It only got up to, I think, high 80s. So it's actually pretty pleasant considering yesterday was like smotheringly humid. But I think this looks so, so good for a busy person on the go who wears a lot of different hats, literally and figuratively. I think it looks great. I love it. My opinion is not changed from my previous recording. If it is, I just like it even more than I thought I would. And the kind of itchiness hasn't been so bad the past couple of hours. It was pretty bad around my nose area earlier. I think I mentioned that in my last check-in, but it's not really doing that anymore, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how my skin looks when I take this off. But like I probably said before, I'm gonna keep testing this. Okay, back to past Amanda. She's your future Amanda because you're about to see her, but to me, she was in the past. Either way, what is time? Time's an illusion. See you later. I think this has a really beautiful finish. Hopefully, future Amanda agrees with me on this. I have to say, I really, really like this foundation. I'm incredibly impressed. I like the packaging. I can see this being travel friendly. The fact that I did not powder this, I didn't use the setting spray, and it's held up so well on my face. It hasn't budged. I think it still just looks really great. It probably even looks better than when I first put it on after it warmed to my skin and kind of sunk in. I really like this way more than I thought I was going to. Of course, I'll definitely keep wearing this and testing it out, pairing it with different products and different looks to really confirm how much I like it. And we'll see where it ends up at the end of the month when I do my September ranking. But for now, I have to say, I'm very impressed with the Easy Blur foundation. I would love to hear what you think about this product. Are you interested? Does this seem like something that you would enjoy? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all of your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Too close. Zoom out, thank you. Okay, alright. From Ulta. Man, okay, it's going great. Huda Beauty, not Ulta Beauty. Great, got it. I love that she's showing her unretouched skin here too. I think we need more of that. I like to show my normal, unfiltered, unretouched skin because I think it's important to balance out. You know, you see a lot of really perfected, filtered, not real images online, and On the surface of that, there's really nothing wrong with it. I don't look at somebody who's filtering or retouching their photos and think that they're doing anything wrong. But I think collectively, everybody benefits from having the balance of seeing skin that has not been retouched as well. Just so that we can kind of fight that perception drift and remember that having imperfections and blemishes and quirks and spots and wrinkles and crinkles and lines and freckles and veins and all that stuff is 100% fine and normal, and none of us are morally failing because we have those things. I really, really think this is great. It's a great campaign. I am behind it 100%. I love it. Okay, where am I? I was going to say where was I, but this works too. Okay, I'm looking. I'm sorry. I'm slow. No, 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 thank you. No, thank you. So many pop-ups. Oh my gosh, help. No, stop clicking things. Accept all cookies. I literally don't care. Just let me search for what I want. 29 shades? That's so weird. I have 7 minutes before my filming time is done. I was wearing a hat earlier, and it looks like the hat barely messed up my foundation. Maybe we're off a little bit right here. It's pretty impressive. And the rest of the makeup on my face is the NYX Beetlejuice collection. I filmed that today too, so I don't know what order these are gonna go up in. We'll see. Cute, cute, cute. All right. I am so tired and I still have so much left to do for the day. We got this. Do you ever hype yourself up? Sometimes I really have to hype myself up to just to get through the day. You know what I'm saying? Gotta do what you gotta do. I got too many irons in the fire right now. That's what happens when you're a parent and you run your own business, then you work for yourself and you run your household and you try to have a social life and you try to do fun things. And the holidays are coming up. I'm fine. Okay. It's okay. It's actually more than okay, but we'll get there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Look at my little tree earrings. Aren't they so cute? I have to go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that I get to do another check-in for you. I'm gonna try really, really, really hard. I don't know if I'll be able to talk, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? But I gotta switch from work mode to parent mode. So I'll do just doing the best I can with what I got. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging out here with me, and I think that you are so awesome and funny and just filled with good ideas. And I love your face. Okay, bye.